Good evening. Want to thank you for coming on the call tonight. We're going to be discussing in-market leads, why this is different than anything that you've been presented before, and we're going to be going through that this evening. We are Marketing Dynamics. We are an agency partner with Direct Hit Media. Direct Hit Media is actually the company that is bringing you the in-market leads program. This particular call tonight is geared toward auto dealerships. This can certainly work for really any vertical. This information is going to apply to whatever business you may have. So, but I just wanted to let everybody know tonight's call is geared specifically for auto dealerships. So without any further ado, let me turn the mic over to Tommy Leantonio. And Tommy, are you there?
Let's cook. I'm here. I always start all my training off with this because I want to show you this. The concept of mastery, not just the information we're going to give you tonight, but every day spaced over time. That's how you master this. Anything. This is how you master it. But I'm going to show you two things about our technology. Number one, the role of multiple channel repeated ads, and mastery will come back again. Showing an ad is the correct information, every day spaced over time. That's how prospects come to master the message and understand it at a much different level. So everybody understands the concept of data, okay? Data, big data, okay? But I want you to think about it like this, all right? I want you to think about data is nothing more than raw information, okay? Now, a single visit to URL at Edmunds to look up a Audi Q7, okay? That's a raw data event. That's what we call a raw data event, because a raw data event is not that important. But when you combine data plus data, okay? So when someone says to me, what possible information could you give to me that would make me successful as an auto dealership? So let's say the guy on the left with the umbrella, his name is Bob Johnson. What could we possibly know about Bob that would be insight, right? Information that will allow a dealership to be successful. How about his name, his address, his phone number, his email, his cell phone, right? The fact that Bob's visited all sorts of websites that tell us he's in market to buy a car, right? We're in the insight business. Data plus data equals insight. So I'm sure you've heard the word big data before, but data in and of itself, okay, is not important. So if you want to understand who is in market, then you're going to have the right data. And then you're going to have to combine that data to create that new piece of insight that he's in market. A single behavior does not mean he's in market. 15 visits to Edmunds may begin to put him on the radar, but that doesn't necessarily tell me he's in the market, okay? So what our system does, simply put, is it collects, organizes, analyzes, right, and interprets various types of online behavior, specifically navigation behavior on the URL level, keyword search behavior, okay, campaign response, social media, mobile behavior, content consumption, okay? When we look at Bob in the circle on the left, all our software does is it looks at the behavior of every single person who bought a car from that dealership. Okay, now I've been selling cars through our program for the last 4 years, okay, in partnership with somebody and using our data and tracking it, all right? We sold over 350,000 cars, and each one of those cars, we knew who bought it, down to their name. So the piece of information that we looked at was all of their online behavior before they bought. And when we say, for example, success in business has a lot to do with knowing something others do not know, it's not just the behavior, but how we use that behavior with machine learning, with our algorithm, okay? Because it's more than just giving you in-market leads. It's more than just giving you the people that are in funnel. How do we know it's Bob instead of an anonymous person going to Edmunds? Are you familiar with retargeting? I'm sure you're familiar with retargeting. We use the same technology, okay? But instead of dropping a cookie when someone visits your web page, we place the cookie on the browser when the consumer buys something during a transaction. There are several reasons why. It guarantees that we get a human being, right? And during the transaction, the consumer passes us an identifier back for them. Bob gives us his email address. Today, Amazon came out and said they're now allowing custom audiences to be uploaded. Bing came out today and said they're now allowing custom audiences. But you can already upload it to Facebook, Google, the hash, the SHA-256 lowercase, Facebook, Google, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. You could do mobile ads on a company called Pocket Math with a hash. All right? The only reason you would need to unlock that hash to get the full contact record is email and direct mail and outbound call. Okay? Now, the difference between in-market and in-funnel, it's really simple. It's called people-based marketing. We're only advertising to people. If you stick to the transaction, look, I could easily do it other ways, but then I'd be back to getting tons of bots and a lot of fraud. So it's recent, and it's constantly redropped every single solitary month. So now, we all understand that our cookie, by the way, your cookie, okay, because this is yours now, right? Your cookie is sitting on Bob's browser. So now let's say Bob shows up at my website, all right, our dealership's website, excuse me. We have something called the Pixel. We call it a Smart Pixel. Now here's the way a Pixel works. When somebody visits the website, the first thing it does is it goes to place a cookie, just like a traditional Pixel, on the visitor's browser. But what happens when they go to the browser? Your cookie is already there. Oh my, what does it do? It looks to see who it is. When we drop the cookie during the transaction, we got the email connected to that cookie. We put it into what we call internally a match table, okay? And now we know that that cookie is Bob Johnson. So when somebody shows up to a dealership's website off of our in-market leads, we know 100% of who they are. And when you get the lead file from us on Tuesday, next to the hash will be a lead score. If it's 7 or above, the number's higher than 7. I can't tell you which ones are and which ones aren't in funnel, but a higher score than 7 is valuable. Anything above a 7, pay serious attention to those people. Okay? Now, an in-funnel lead, when they drive it through our in-market leads, we know 100% of the time. When they drive it outside of it, because they'll drive traffic themselves, we're only able to match back between 10 and 20%. So there's two pieces that I want you to think about. But I want to show you how this works. And I want to show you not only how it works, but why it works. Let's start with the basics. Step number 1, there's two big major things that are going on in the world today. You're all familiar with the word big data, right? Data in and of itself means nothing. Now, data combined with data can produce an insight, okay? And that's insight that we sell. We're in the insight business. So I want to show you how, okay? But I want to show you a piece. Think of this as how like the combustible engine works. But what I'm about to show you is the future of business. That's not hype. That's not, me, making it sound better than it is. It's a fact. Okay? So think about, we create 2.5 quintillion bytes of data. So if you want to understand how an event happens, a phenomenon happens, then you want to look at the data. Now, which type of data for what we're talking about? We're looking at a sale, right? We want to know how to predict an auto sale. Now, our mind cannot process all this data and insight. So we use something called machine learning. Machine learning is nothing more than a system that learns from data. Okay? Machines don't learn on their own. They're fed data. Okay? Now, this is what I'm going to say, and it's going to sound like hype, because if you ignore this, you're going to miss one of the largest opportunities in business. We're now in the business of outcome prediction, right? An outcome economy, where you're going to use data, big data, but data in and of itself means nothing without analytics. And that's what machine learning is, analytics. So every company competes on data and machine learning to win sales. Every company is going to have to be able to do that. We're the only ones that are predicting in market using pre-purchase behavior, URL level navigation. Show me where that exists. And if you can, and there are some, but it's certainly not where you own it. It's where you can use like BlueKai or something like that for in-market data. We literally give the lead to somebody. When I show this to you, I think it'll really help you understand some really cool things. This is just a smidgen, all right? We bring in a lot of data for people. So as an example, and again, this isn't from every source. This doesn't go into everything, okay? But just to give you an idea, here's a guy. We're tracking where the device is. So the 901 zip code, right, was where it started. So the first thing we have was GameFAQs, Call of Duty, which lets me think maybe this kid's young, all right? This is a younger person, maybe even in college, all right? So we looked up the zip codes, and I'll show you the zip codes down here at the bottom. It's actually in the upper northwest, and I think it was Wyoming, which borders the state of Utah. They're looking for used SUVs in Stockbridge, Georgia, at Edmunds, right, all through the 7th, a ton of behavior. Like you'll see, this is just some of the behavior. It says used SUV, but he does get into some search here. It's not in this spreadsheet. Guys, the amount of behavior somebody has over a 30-day period, this is just one small source that we get it from. We have hundreds, and hundreds, literally. And so it's just to kind of show you there's a lot of behavior that goes into this, right? So he keeps looking. He's in Stockbridge, right, looking for a used SUV. I mean, is this guy in the market for a car? Look at all this behavior. You know, there were up to 200 lines of behavior. This person is spending huge amounts of time, you know, rifling all around. Then he goes on the next day, he goes to KBB, right, and he's looking up an Optima. Then he's looking up a Hyundai Sonata. He goes and he goes from a Kia Optima to a Sonata to a Nissan Maxima.
To send money at Walmart to his buddy in prison.
Yeah, right. So, well, here's the really cool part. Now, you tell me what you think he's about to do next, okay? Just use your common sense logic to look at this, all right? He starts going to Walmart, right? Excuse me, starts going to Best Buy, and look at what he's looking on Best Buy. A Dell Precision, a laptop. Now he goes to eBay, again looking for a mobile workstation, a laptop, excuse me. Back to Walmart, back to eBay, back to Best Buy. Then he goes to Newegg, then back to Best Buy, eBay again, excuse me, all for laptop stuff, okay? Then he files his tax returns late because it's April 20th, and he looks up filing a late tax return. So we know that this person's filed a late tax return. He's in the market for a laptop. Then he's looking at CheapOair. He went to school in Utah. Now, how do I know he went to school? Well, look what he does at CheapOair. He's looking for air listings. Now, we looked that up. He's looking for flights back to Georgia. But then look what he does down at the bottom. He starts looking for deals for student travel. There's a college kid who was in the market. Now, here's the funny thing. On April 21st, all his behavior stopped. Want to know why? Because he bought his laptop. So when you feed that kind of correct information into an algorithm, it would ignore all the stuff about laptop purchases because the second sale and the 40th sale and the 50th sale. I not only know who's in market, but I know which ones are yours and which ones are your competitors. Scale of 1 to 10. How important is this? Are you seriously looking for a solution? A guy asked me 2 days ago, he said, if you have what you say you have, why aren't you all over the internet? And I go, this is not for everybody. There are 23 million companies in the United States. This is built specifically for somebody that is driving paid media and converting paid media. That means that it's not for all 23 million. So why would I be advertising to them? I
Right.
choose my clients. So the guy I spoke to today, one of the appointments I had today, spending $12 a click. How many of your past customers are right now shopping for a car and you're not even aware of it? How many of your competitors' sales are shopping for a car that are just waiting for you to snap them up? You're telling me you're not interested in that? You're telling me this wouldn't have a bearing on your profits, grow your sales? Why not use a cookie? Because a cookie is temporary. What we give them is permanent. The average life of a cookie, generously, is 4 to 5 weeks. It's probably a little less. When you drive traffic from Google, you can only retarget a cookie back at Google. Can you drive a cookie to a page from Google and then drop a Facebook retargeting pixel to run the ad back over there? Google doesn't allow it. So a cookie is single channel. It's temporary, it's single channel, and it's anonymous. You don't know who it is. With our system, it's not temporary, it's permanent. It's not single channel, it's multi-channel, and it's not anonymous. It's 100% transparent, which means it's 100% sales match accountable. Which means if I drive people to the page, you're going to be able to look and see whether or not your sales came from my leads, and I'm okay with that. We focus on the 3% that are in market. Why do we only focus on the needles? Well, they're running advertising from the tier 1 and tier 2 level, right, from Ford, from the higher up levels. From an individual dealership level, they should only be focusing on the 3% and the 7% because the rest of them are in some form of I'm not interested. But there's another advantage as to why we only focus on the people that are in market and in funnel. You ready? Here's why. Because we have the ability, when we own them, and they're now available to go to multiple channels, to run a multi-channel, multi-touch, multi-device campaign. If I had to do it for the whole marketplace, I couldn't afford to, okay? So we focus on the 3%, right? The in-market lead, the in-funnel, which is a site visitor match, and the third type of lead that we provide to our customers is something called an onboard alert notification, okay? And all that means is they can onboard, if they choose to, all of their past sales, right? And if they match up to the 125 million we're tracking, and they won't be able to match up 100%, we'll be able to let them know when they're in market, right? So we can give them brand protection, right? They look at it, what do they call it? Brand migration. They want to hold on to their existing clients and conquest other companies' clients. Look, you need to get conquest car sales. You need to get sales. So if I can show you everybody who's in market by name, right, and I can show you every person that's on your website if you use my leads, and 10 to 20% of the traffic you drive outside of my leads, would that help you get more sales? Yes or no? Now, how do we know what signal to look for? Well, it's simple. What happens is our clients, when they make a sale, they let us know. And if they're one of the 125 million people we track, we go back into that behavior database, say 6 months, and we build all of their chronological behavior, their URL behavior, their keyword behavior, their campaign, right? Content, social, internet, and we build out a chronological behavioral path to purchase. Now, we do that for one. It's not enough, right? It's like a left-handed, redheaded guy coming into the store and buying. Does that mean all your buyers are that? No. But if 100 or 200 or 500, well, then yeah. So what we do is we take that behavioral path for 100 sales, 200 sales. In our case, it's well over a couple of 100,000 sales. And now we have a signal that helps us look at all of that daily behavior and know exactly who is in market. Now, being able to predict who's in market is really cool. But if you're not measuring that prediction, so there's two ways that we measure, and this is the third part now. How we measure it is, Bob, we put a pixel on your website. And every time one of our predictions of in market visit your website, it tells our algorithm we're accurate. And when someone doesn't show up, we know. And you onboard your sales to us, we know. All of that helps us. And here's what it does. It's a closed loop. It's a feedback loop, a perpetual feedback loop that with each conversion, we recalibrate our targeting algorithm. It's called auto-optimization. We know the behavior that people commit before they buy a car. And what our software does is it identifies them. And we provide that lead to you in the form of a hash. Okay? Now, that hash is permanent, which means when you upload it to Google or Facebook or YouTube or Instagram or Twitter or email or direct mail or outbound phone call, you're not having to provide, ask for data. When you go to Google, you ask them for data. When you go to Facebook, you ask them for targeting data. You're providing it. So you're going to get a lower cost per click. You're going to get a higher CTR, which is going to give you a lower cost per click. Multi-channel, multi-touch, multi-device. So I always ask people a simple question. Why is multi-channel so valuable? You've seen over 100,000 ads in the last 30 days. Name 5. Name 5. And I get crickets. You want to know why you can't name 5? Because you forgot. But we're not advertising to the haystack. We're only advertising to just the needles. So we're able to advertise to them multiple times per day without offending them because we spread it across what? Multiple channels. These are people that are actively pursuing a purchase of a car. These are people that are on your website actively considering buying from you. If you had that person's information, can you see the value of being able to market across multiple channels? Can you see the value of being able to continuously every day, spaced over time, how this is over a 13-week or a 15-week or an 18-week sales cycle? How this is going to help them purchase? When you're using third-party data at Target, at Facebook, or Google, if somebody comes in to buy a car, how do you know which source of traffic drove it? With us, you start out with a manifest of names. When you're using third-party data, you don't know where it's sourced from. We do. But see, here's the thing. If you can't track whether or not third-party data is pursuing, then why should they try and make it better? They don't have to because you can't hold them accountable. It's a perfect system. It could be all fraud. I could show you an article at Ad Exchanger where they talk about only 20% of third-party data, anonymous third-party data, is accurate, that they can't even get male-female right more than 70% of the time. But look, when we start talking about Tony Allen, okay, and Colleen DeVito, right, those are the people that bought, and those are the people that we started. They were in-market leads. 100% sales match accountability. At the end of the month, you're going to know whether our data produced or not, period. This is the only way you're going to get a high volume of conquest car sales, is if you only target people that are actively pursuing a purchase and only spend your limited ad spend on those people because those prospects have a high probability of buying. The only question is whether they're going to buy from you. And if you're only running one ad because you're advertising to everybody in the PMA, you're going to miss that guy. A conquest sale has to be saturated with why. Why he needs to leave his known car maker and go to you. And if you're spending advertising targeting somebody who has no idea about buying a car, has no inclination, no desire, and you're romancing that guy instead of focusing on the guy you need to focus on, you're never going to get conquest car sales. Now, all I'm asking you for is an opportunity to prove it. How does this compare to everything else? Simple. Ask yourself a very simple question. What other opportunity are you investing in that you don't have the ability to track back 100% sales match? Meaning, at the end of the month, you can look at a sale and go, I know who brought that sale in. Look, simply put, this is impressive. We set out with a goal of 120 over 90 days, and we produced 155. Now, don't be overly impressed because there's nothing that we did that you can't do. Here's what we did. We only targeted people that were in market actively pursuing a purchase of a car, and we only targeted people that were in market and were in your funnel, right? They visited the webpage. Those are the only people we targeted. Now, here's the secret. You ready? We didn't run one channel. We ran 6. Facebook, mobile, display, YouTube, email, and Google PPC. All the things you're already doing. Now, what did we put in the ads? Here's the other secret. You ready? We either stated our value proposition or we supported our value proposition. I'm sure your ads do the same already. But it's multi-channel, and we only advertise. And if there's one trick, it's this. We ran the ads 5, 6, 7 times a day. But not all on Facebook, spread across all 6. So they were getting saturated, but not offended. So when they picked up their cell phone, our ads were there. When they went to YouTube, our ads were there. When they went to Facebook, our ads were there. Okay? We ran Facebook. For us, Facebook is Instagram and mobile and in the news feed, in the feed, right? That's it. I mean, you know, and I got to tell you, 75% of the ads, 50 to 75% of the ads we ran don't even have a call to action. Dude, we were just rubbing it in their face. Buy, 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 buy. That's it. So every one of these are the same thing. There's no trick. We only advertised to people that were in market and in funnel, and we advertised across multiple channels, multiple devices, multi-touch per day.
Very
Because
nice.
memory, believe it or not, all the sexy technology in the world, memory plays a huge part in why people take action. Ask yourself this simple question. You ready? Can you take action on something you've forgotten?
Nope.
No.
Yep.
People act on what they remember, not on what they forget. Our job with these ads is to pound their memory and remind them over and over again. You need to get down to the Ford dealership and buy your car. Buy Ford, buy Ford, buy Ford, over and over and over again. The correct information every day spaced over time. We had them master the message.
All right, man. Hey, Tommy, thank you so much for your time. And
No problem.
everybody else, thank you so much for your time.